Awesome. And I'm assuming that we are live on Facebook in the Just Play community. So we missed a few days out, but we're back on the live coaching sessions. So one of the people that put their hand up was Olga Curdova, who is a piano teacher and teaches music theory. And she said that she'd like some coaching on keeping things interesting, keeping things exciting for herself and for her students. So first of all, welcome, Olga. How you doing?
Thank you for inviting me. I'm grateful.
I'm grateful that there are people in the group who come forward and are prepared to have conversations about how things are going. It's nice. It's not everybody does that. So first of all, thank you for volunteering, for having a conversation. And like we had a little chat just before we went on the live just now, and what I was saying was, my intention is that our time together now, so we have between 30 minutes to an hour together to make the time useful to you, to be of service to you in some way. So tell me what you mean by keeping things interesting. Is that the word you used?
Keeping things interesting, exciting, and fresh, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't become routine that is boring for me and for my
Mm,
student. So
mm,
it's not about me only. Yeah, it's
mm,
about my students. Because at some point I caught myself on a thought when I woke up one morning and I said, "Oh my God, another day! Oh no!" And I said, "Wait a minute! It was something that you really love to do. And I do love it. But sometimes those thoughts, why? And during the lessons, I started to notice I'm getting irritated. It's
mm,
uh, I'm admiring teachers, music teachers. They get perfect students. Like everybody just perfect, always prepared, always doing what you ask them to do. um, because I see video of some teachers on Facebook and say, why I don't get those students? Or maybe I'm a bad teacher, I don't know. So I'm really trying to be a good teacher,
mm,
because,
mm,
but sometimes I feel that I'm lazy and maybe it's me who is not keeping things excited. But and then again, I'm going back. I have to do scales. I have to do etudes because the parents, they want me to prepare a child for the examination, for exam at RCM, Royal Conservatory of Music,
mm,
and they want a student, their child, to get a good mark, decent mark. So I have to do this stuff. I can't just play around to play some popular songs. So I have to do through this routine. And I see that the students are like, oh my God, like struggling with this, And I don't know, sometimes I just change the order. Okay, let's start today from the sonatina, for example, not from B flat major. Um, Sometimes, but it's very little things I can do. Or the whole work, we work on this sonatina, and I'm talking about Mozart and he died at 35, how difficult his life was, and etc. I don't know if they're interested, but just yesterday I understood that what I know, I sometimes assume that what I know they also know. Like one of my students, he even didn't know who is Mozart. He thought that he was alive, and
mm.
yesterday was Mozart's birthday. And I say, oh no no no, he's 265 years old. I, oh, so he's dead. I said, yeah, pretty much.
Ah,
Yeah, and he said, Olga, I'm honest with you, I never heard about Mozart, but this is excites me because I can. So this student will get his knowledge about Mozart from me. So
yeah.
it's even some responsibility,
Mm,
things like this. And yeah, very difficult. I'm getting irritated lately very much because they're kids, they're not practicing, and it's difficult to talk about art, it just notes, fingers, and again over the same. And it's a difficult time for kids. Most of the time now they play these video games. Another problem I have now, they can't play slowly. It's amazing, like nobody, like from young kids to adults who is like 16, 17 years old. I said slowly, like they can't hold themselves. It's a problem. I don't know why. Yeah, so, and I got really irritated, upset, because it's like you're trying something and it's not exciting, it's not exciting for me because I see no progress, and I see, there is no, like you're giving, somebody's taking it from you. Almost like 80% of my students, I can't see that. And it's all
80% that you feel like you're giving and they're taking.
like 80% of students I have, I think they're not excited of doing what they're doing. So
Right.
they do that because of parents want them to do, but I want them to be excited because it excites me also when they're excited.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I can understand, I can definitely understand. I don't do, personally, I don't do a lot of music teaching anymore. I used to do a lot of music teaching. I've kept one student, and it's a young student. And when you said about oh no, mistake. Actually, there is one client that I've got. This, so I'm fact checking myself, making sure I'm not saying anything that's not true. I've got two people who are kind of students, but the young student that I have, when you said about not being able to play slowly, what I heard you say was, or what I got from what you said was about maybe their concentration. Is that what you meant about not being able to play slowly because it's boring to them?
Yeah, but that's exactly the interesting, exciting stuff you can see when you play slowly, right? Because they go through this, and there's no music, there's just like driving a car through some beautiful, great landscape and seeing nothing because of speed. Yeah. And, even if they start playing slowly, then it will go again back. And this metronome, it doesn't help because it's even worse. Like people hate metronome. I don't know why they hate it, because it's bum, bum. Yeah, like everybody hates order. Yeah. But you're right, maybe because it's boring for them to play slowly. But why it's boring for them? Yeah. So
Well, that's a great question.
yeah,
That's a great question.
yeah,
Because as I was listening to you speaking, I'm sort of keeping an ear open for like how I can help the most, because like my senses, and you help me with this, you guide me on what you feel is the right direction for the conversation to go in, Olga, because my sense is that we could talk about kind of pedagogical approaches. We could go down that route, but my sense is that that's not where the most use will be, or the most kind of impact will be for you. My sense is we're talking about a relationship thing between you and the student. Now, does that resonate with you?
yeah, exactly. So my goal, so my student, any of my students, when they wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I have piano lesson," they say, "Yay, piano lesson!" Something like this. So they're happy. So music becomes a part of their lives, and making it nicer, happier, better quality. So of course, it's not a goal to get them great pianists, not at all. Like I even don't have this goal, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know. I didn't think about it, but it's not my goal. My goal, because music for me, it always keep me, when I starting to fall out of normal, it always brings me back. So that's what I want music become for my students. Something that we can have in common, something that, yeah. So not just because my parents want me to do, because it's a beautiful thing, music. And that we're talking about taste and music. I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay, do you know this? To not like it or like it, you need to know this, right? How I can like something that I have no idea. So, but the thing is, they even don't, like you said, it's boring. They don't want to look. So the question is how to get your audience to look, to listen.
Right. Okay.
Ah,
Cool. Great question. Great question. I think I'm getting a clearer picture of what it's like for you. So, how can I get my audience to look and to listen? You said, and I heard you say that there were some times when students were more excited, were more interested, were listening more. Like, what can you tell me a bit about what that is like when there's a student there who seems to be interested in it? Like, what is, because I'm curious to explore, like, how are you seeing the difference between what you how you want it to be and maybe how you don't want it to be? Like, tell me about when they are interested and when that spark kind of is there.
Question, that's great question. And I have few students, very few like this. First of all, the even face expression is different. You know, you see this eyes, sparkly eyes. They're excited. You know, and they ask me questions, and they ready to play, and they always try right. Like for example, can you play hands separately? Can I put it together now? Like, and can I do more? Can you send me another song of this composer? So I see they show me their interest, some interest. Yes, and of course the way of practicing, I can see that student is doing his job. He's playing. He wants to go further. Yeah, sometimes they challenge me. Like they tell me, "Oh, Olga, at mezzo piano, you did not start at mezzo piano, you know." And I had some moments when they saw something in a song I did not see, or they, "Oh, do you hear this motive? It's jingle bells." And I said, "What a jingle bell? No, 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 just listen to this. Da 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 da." To be honest with you, I even didn't hear that, but I started to. So it's sometimes it's interesting, and so it gets excited from both sides.
Right. Okay. So it's excited from both sides, and it sounds like you notice, you said about their eyes lighting up and
Yeah,
they've got enthusiasm for it. And it sounds like you're saying that you have the experience of noticing new things and you're excited by that kind of
yes,
relationship.
also changed me, so I need to find something more because it's getting interesting. And on the other side, when this is not happening,
Mm,
it's some heavy silence.
mm,
So I'm talking. The student stops, and this is look like what she's wanting from me, what I'm doing wrong. Like sometimes it's like we even don't understand each other what I want.
mm, mm.
It's really, really, really difficult. And like I see that student is not interested. And I'm asking questions. I said, "Do you like those songs? Maybe you would like us to look for some other music." Because it happens sometimes it just doesn't appeal to you at some point, or something it's so difficult you struggle with this song. I can suggest maybe another song. The answer usually, no, 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 I like my songs. I like it. I really love it. I love it. Yeah, so you need to practice it. You need to this is famous phrase, Beethoven wrote a letter. So to you, a personal letter. So please be careful because it's Beethoven who wrote a letter.
Mm,
Oh, for them it's Beethoven. Okay, some guy, so what, Beethoven.
mm.
So like something, and it's also reflects in me and just like, oh no, because I'm excited about Beethoven but they're not. It's different generations. They like different music, and probably it's a great music, and I'm not excited about their music. That's another question. Another,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So
Like some. people, they don't like museums because they don't like past stuff that already dead, you know. So they say, oh, it's past, I'm not interested.
Well, that's the kind of that's something which I would I'm curious about that piece, you know, like you said about people not liking museums, right? Or, you know, specifically to what you came here for, you know, like that certain students like or don't like a certain kind of music. So I know what you mean. I completely know what you mean. And are you open to sort of take a little closer look at that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Have you always been excited about Beethoven?
Excuse me, I didn't get the question.
Have you always been excited about Beethoven?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, my mistake, that's what I'm thinking, that I assume that what I feel, everybody else will feel. And I understand it's not this way.
Well, hang on.
Yeah,
So right,
yeah,
you sound excited about Beethoven now
because
at this stage in your life.
I grew up with music. It, like, you know, from my childhood, it was music. We were buying those records, we were listening. So I grew up in this atmosphere. So I assumed that everybody, but not apparently, which is obvious.
Well, I'm inclined to challenge you on this, okay? Because and not just because I'm not. This is not me arguing with you. This is me kind of. I think there's something in here that may be of use to you, and I don't know yet, so I could be wrong. But is it okay if we explore it a little further?
Of course, yeah, I would love to, yeah.
Cool. I'm guessing, Olga, that there was an age when you first realized that you liked Beethoven. For the first time that you realized that you liked Beethoven.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Yes, it was, of course, the first one for release. Da 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 da. That now I hate. Sorry. I hate because yeah, it's another story. But this was like famous Moonlight.
Yeah.
It, just like everybody knows Moonlight, and for a reason. For yeah. So now my work to explain to people that Beethoven wrote so much and much more interesting music than for release, and one sonata is great, yeah, but there's so much more than that. But for me, like you said, it was for release, and I said, oh, I love it, it's so nice. So yeah, it's interesting question, because I like automatically, oh, I like the song, I like the composer, right? So I did not know about Beethoven much, but I love the music. And I always liked sad music. That's another thing. Sad poetry, sad music. That's crazy. Yeah, I enjoyed playing sad stuff in minor more. And I have students like this now. It's so surprising, and I'm like, just because it's not good. It's not good. It takes you to some wrong. Now I can tell because of life experience. That's not a good thing. Yeah, so it's exciting to tell my student that major musicals, music written in major, also could be very exciting. So
Okay.
I want to do it because I know what it does to people when you just go. It takes you to this path, and you go minor poetry, minor. So your life becomes like written in minor.
Yes. Yeah. So something that is. So what it is it okay if I just tell you like how it's sounding to me what you're saying?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. So well, it sounds to me like you are an extremely passionate, dedicated piano teacher, and that you know the world of piano very well. You know, that's palpable to me. It's very clear, right? And I would expect, or not expect, but I could completely understand that for you to be as an established musician and performer and teacher as you are, that you know, you have learned to take certain things for granted because out of necessity, because it's necessary to know, well, this is the repertoire and this is what we expect for students who are growing. And I'm the thing I'm listening out for, I'm kind of curious about is how was life for you, or like how did things seem to you as that knowledge was being created? And this might be, you know, but if you started at a young age, what age did you start playing the piano?
At 7 years.
7. So it's a young age.
Yeah.
Now, I know for a fact that you were not born knowing who Beethoven was or knowing what a piano was.
Of course.
You weren't born able to speak any language or to play any instrument or to think of yourself as a musician. Even you weren't born with those abilities. Now, at some point, via certain processes, those tastes that you have and that immense amount of knowledge that you have has grown. As far as I can tell, that seems to be the case.
Yes, that's true. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you said that, or it's not you, it's like when anybody says something like students like this kind of music, or students don't like this kind of music, or nobody likes to play the piano or whatever, then what I know that what I'm hearing, it makes sense to me that you're summarizing lots of experiences, but what I'm hearing is something which isn't a black or white comparison being made into a black or white comparison. It's like everybody hates it or everybody loves it, and in reality, my sense is, sorry.
Yeah, it's too strong, like this or like this. Yeah.
Yeah. So my sense is that, and my experience has been, I've noticed that certain students may say, I hate this, or I'm bored. And then fast forward 6 months, or fast forward 6 minutes, and that can change, you know, or someone could say, I love this composer, and then they've practiced one bar of something that they don't like, and then they can suddenly say, oh, I hate Beethoven, you know. So my sense is that there's a dynamic process going on here of like how someone is thinking about your lessons, or how you're thinking about them. You know, from as far as I can tell, it seems like it's a moment to moment thing, and that, you know, like this conversation, you know, some moments I may feel you know, like I'm trying to impress you, or some moments I may feel like I'm trying to say the right thing, or some moments I may forget we're having a conversation in a kind of public forum. My headspace kind of comes and goes and varies, right?
Yes, sure. Yeah.
My sense is that something similar to that goes on in your lessons, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's all process. You're absolutely right. It cannot be just like I said, black or white. And that's the question, how to get it exciting, you know? So there's more moments like let me like a changing, you know?
Yes.
So what should I do? Because I think it's me, because I'm older, I have more experience, more knowledge with those kids, right? So I should be smarter than that. I should find the ways, you know, to make it to make them at least to enjoy what they do.
So yeah, so I hear you, and it is possible for that kind of space to be created, you know. So what I'm hearing you say is that it's possible to create a kind of relationship or way of being with students, which makes it easier for them to see the beauty in a piece of music, or at least be open to exploring it, right?
Yeah.
And you asked a good question, which is like, how do you do that? So I can give you my opinions, but before I do that, if it's relevant, I'm really interested to know what you've already noticed, because I bet you've noticed that there are certain times where, well, I don't know, have you ever had a student that has seemed to be quite fixed in their mindset about a piece of music or learning the piano, and they've kind of, they seem to have softened a bit, or they seem to have become a bit more open to seeing things a new way? Have you had that kind of experience in a lesson?
Interesting question, actually. Like, it doesn't happen a lot. Otherwise, I would tell you right away, oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't
Yeah.
happen never, because you're thinking about it, presumably.
But yes, I have a like student like this, and he's changing, and he's even look at me, and he said, you know what, you're a good teacher. Nobody
Mm,
told me that. You know,
mm,
he's asking
mm,
questions, he's trying, he's, and I see that he's opening to new music, and
mm.
yeah, it's actually nice. Yeah. And then another question is parents, because his mom comes, and the first thing she's saying in front of him, oh, he's bad, he's do this, he's never, he's this, he's that. I said, no, 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 he's great. And she's like, that's, you know, it's another, we don't know what's going on there in their lives,
Sure.
go through, because they carrying it inside. And actually music will help to deal with this stuff, but they don't
Yes.
know yet, probably.
So you just said something very interesting, and I think useful, right? So you said we don't know what's going on in their lives,
Yeah.
and and inside them, you know, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So how did that student, how, what's your theory for why has he, in that particular case, like why has he been able to go from being more fixed and then that change happening? Like, what is there a difference there? Like, what's made that possible where it seemingly hasn't been possible somewhere else?
Mm.
And I appreciate that this might not be something you thought about much. So if there's not an immediate answer, there's no time pressure to kind of give me the perfect answer straight away. This is,
Oh, interesting question. It's actually something that, you know, I have to think about it. So
yeah. So there's no rush to think about it, Olga. That's what I
I
want you to
have
know.
now, because I'm actually like excited, because questions are great. And yeah, it's actually a great question. So I know, maybe there is some need that being fulfilled by, like, and it was closed, or maybe music helping to open it up, you know, because students that, like you said, fixed, that being fixed, they very closed, you know, like sometimes I even feel like a wall, you know, and I can punch it, like,
Mm-hmm.
not, of course, but I still won't get through. Yeah, I have a
But
student.
you have with this one though. So that's what I'm asking. I've heard you say that, you know, you asked me like, you felt like there was something that you were doing that wasn't working with these students, and then it sounds like there's something that is working. And I've asked you what was different, and you've told me that it was him. Now I'm curious,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I bet that there's something that you are doing in that relationship, in that particular case, that is helping,
Mhm.
or is at least part of the equation. Maybe he's a unique one, and it was just his time to kind of you know, open up. But I bet I bet your experience when he was more closed
Mhm.
still felt like he was closed, but there were moments when things were changing. So I'm really curious about what your experience has been like when kind of insight has been unlocked it with those students? Because it seems to me like that could be useful, because if you got a clearer idea or noticing some of those changes, it may be something you could tap into in your teaching practice in general. Could be really useful, you know.
Yeah, maybe the things that I started to notice the good things, because I saw that he needs it, because he knows he already has prerequisites. I'm bad, I'm talentless, I'm this, and that's why I'm playing like this, and I started to show him, how he actually good. So some people needs to, and actually you're right, because it's something that I started to use. When students play me something, I see lots of bad stuff, but I push myself, find something good. It's always very important to find something good and start with this. Build this on this good. With this student, this what we working. When I'm discovering how good he is, and I build our relationship on it, and his development as a musician build on what good he has, what good he does. Yeah, so I think this is important for me, and maybe that should I use more with students. How good, but again, some people don't care. Okay, I'm good, I don't care.
Some people, I'm going to play this back to you.
Yeah.
Some people don't care. Right?
Some people don't care.
I don't believe you.
Really?
I don't believe you. Right? I have a sense for what you're describing, right? And I've been that teacher where it's been sort of pulling my hair out, because I have felt like they don't care. But me feeling like they don't care, I don't think is the same thing as them actually not caring.
Interesting. So how can you explain that percentage has been closed? We even did not finish lesson yet, but as soon as like 12:30, the guy closed his screen. I'm still talking. Can you imagine? And he does it all the time.
Yeah.
And he hates when I make some, okay, you make mistake. He start to do, like with his legs. Yeah, so, and I caught myself on the thought that I'm afraid, not of him, I'm afraid to make a notice. Oh, this note is not right. So sometimes I even skip his mistake when it's, okay, this is, I can skip it, which is wrong, I have to stop him. I have as a teacher, I have to tell him, yeah, you know what, you're making mistake here. And I always do. And oh my God, he hates it. Like, I feel it physically how he hates me at this moment when I criticize him. Yeah, I don't know. And it was always with a student. And I tried so many things. Yeah, that's what I started to think. Maybe he just doesn't care. He does it because his mom asking him to do this, or ordering him to do this. I don't know. But like the day when I have the student, I say, oh, this 1 hour, like a fight. I have another student. He said, he played something good. He said, I did it good. I said, yeah, this time it was better. Oh, please hug me. And I said, oh, you know what? It's we're not hugging each other. So just like this. So maybe this kid is his lack of attention. And like everybody is so different, Yeah, but music always helps. So it just things that sometimes I can go through, just something. Yeah.
So there are, it sounds like that there are certain students where you feel like you are able to kind of cut through their own noise, and you get to them, you get to their heart, maybe in a more kind of direct kind of way. There's something that's going on there where you're able, as a teacher, you're able to kind of go in a more direct sort of straight line to connect with them and sort of get on the same page with them, and then take them on a journey. That's what I'm hearing you say. And it sounds like there's some that you can't quite seem to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see they're not excited, and I'm not excited too. I just hate this lesson, which is wrong again. And I have to teach him because, again, it's my living, and I don't want to give up. Like it's the easiest way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Can I be controversial, Olga?
Yeah.
You won't be offended. Well, you might be offended, but are you prepared to? Is it okay if I? Can we risk it?
Okay. Please. Yeah.
um, I don't think it's the student that you are reacting to, or the student that you are kind of feeling, having a feeling about, right?
Yeah.
I think it's the idea
Mhm.
about the student, or your idea of who they are or how they see things, which is which maybe you have assumed is a fact, and it hasn't looked like it's an idea.
Okay.
So I'll explain a little bit. So
Yeah.
sometimes what we can do as a teacher, because obviously I'm speaking as a teacher because I've got some experience, and I know, or certainly something that I found when I was sort of coming to the end of my time in the classroom and spending more time as a coach, right? One of the things that I've noticed is that, and you can try this on, it might resonate with you, it might not, but one of the things I noticed was that there are quite a lot of teachers who are kind of told this idea that they're meant to know more than the students do, and so they've got to kind of they've got to know stuff, that they've got kind of more of a status, and they're the one that has the knowledge, and the students don't. Although we do what we can sometimes to sort of build a relationship, sometimes there's a very subtle kind of I know it and you don't kind of structure. And one thing that I personally noticed when I was
Mhm.
so when I was coming to the end of my time in the classroom, actually, was that I found myself
Mhm.
having fewer expectations of the students. Like I wouldn't say that a student should be a certain way or shouldn't be a certain way. I kind of noticed that
Mhm.
um, I could never make the students be different. Even if I wanted to, there's nothing I could do that would make them change. But what I could do that was really impactful was that I could almost forget my idea about them and
Mhm.
be with them, even if they're having like dreadful behavior or swearing at me sometimes as a classroom teacher, some really some nasty things. And
Mhm.
what I found was that if I had a really solid idea of how they should be, and
Mhm.
they didn't match up to it, I'd get offended and I'd get annoyed, and I'd feel like I was doing a bad job. If my idea of how they should be was kind of thrown away,
Mhm.
I could see the boy in front of me or the girl in front of me or the colleague in front of me for what was actually going on, and I'd pick up on more subtle things like like maybe they're not having a very good day, or maybe their world is so different to mine that I need to learn a little bit more about, like ask them a question like, have you heard of Mozart before, or like, how does that, what kind of music do you like? And it's not a technique or anything, but like kind of those moments where, because I bet you're doing this in those moments where you're connecting more deeply with the students.
Yeah.
I think when you throw your ideas away.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Maybe that's why I'm not excited, because I have my ideas. You said great thing. I think maybe that's the key, because yes, I should have fewer expectations. And
Well, even that's an expectation. Even that's like, you don't. This is not a rod to kind of beat yourself with. This is like, I would encourage you to, someone said something very interesting to me. That I can't remember who it was. Oh,
Mhm.
is it? a coach called Steve Chandler, and he said that curiosity is a kind of love.
Curiosity.
Yeah, the curiosity is a kind of love. So like for coaching conversations, for example, I know I haven't got a clue what your world is like. I know that. I know that I don't know what it's like to be Olga, right? So I sometimes risk seeming really stupid by asking seemingly stupid questions. You know, and I prefer, I mean, I still make assumptions and I still get it wrong from time to time, but what I've noticed is that now I feel like I'm less likely to assume I know just because I've had another coaching client that's similar or another student that's similar. I just like, this is a blank canvas, this person. This is the first lesson I've ever had with them, or this is the first conversation. And I do what I can to not have too many expectations or assumptions, even if it's someone I know quite well. Because I want to notice those moments, because any moment that you're with someone who, because like even your most rigid student and most kind of bored seeming student, there'll be moments where they're slightly more enthusiastic or slightly more close. Like if you're really tuned into them and you're kind of you know, if there's an idea in the way that says this is one of my bad students, then when they actually pop up a little bit and get a little bit more enthusiastic, you might not notice it.
Of course, yeah.
You see, so if there's no ideas in the way, and you can just be with them and kind of accept them for whatever shows up, it's okay, it's welcome, it's a starting point at least. Then when there's a little spark or a little variation in their enthusiasm, you can say, oh, you seemed quite good at that. Tell me about what was going on there. It's like, oh yeah, that reminds me of this bass line, or whatever it is that then excites them. Oh yeah, I really like football, or I really like I don't know, you know, Billie Eilish, whatever it is, you know, whatever gets someone excited. And that can be a potential way in, you know, and it might not be something that you know anything about or care about really, but there may be a way to kind of be taking them from their current model of the world to a place where actually maybe Beethoven and Mozart are kind of similar to something they're already enthusiastic about, because you can be enthusiastic about it and you weren't always you know, you didn't know, you weren't born knowing it either, same as them. So I think curiosity is something to get curious about. You see what I mean?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this is the way to get excited and to get them excited. Because, you know, if I'm curious and I'm asking for some things, they kind of open up and they get excited. And you're right, like you asked me about the student, what happened, why he started to be. Because curiosity, ask him what music he likes, and all music he likes, it was from video games. And I asked him, okay, what video? And he got so excited. I forgot about this moment. Yes, but that's how it kind of started to open up. And you know, I even told him that he can bring music he likes. We can play it. Why not? Oh, like if this is what he likes. Yeah, so you're absolutely right. And yeah, I should a little bit change, yeah, my like point of view of each student. Yeah, because sometimes we think we do, but like you mentioned a few things, and I'm very grateful. And I just was thinking, actually, yeah, I don't do that, you know, with this student. Yes.
And I get it, Olga. You know, I'm not pretending like when I was in the classroom that, you know, if you'd have asked me, I wouldn't have said that I liked every single student. I'm not pretending that you know, it's that any teacher can kind of you know, get it right all of the time, or not get annoyed with someone, or not have a, you know, you're not meant to say that you've got a favorite student or a least favorite student or whatever, but your internal experience might be that it feels like that, but it's almost like it doesn't matter too much whether you like them or not, because there's a kind of direction that you can handle, head in. So some students naturally show up and there's a spark between you, and some you don't think about it and it happens by itself. But some you kind of need to get clever and have a bit of a strategy, and there's a little bit more a bit more kind of strategizing going in. But if you know the direction to head in, which as far as I can tell, which is really like calibrating with them, coming from the starting point of the completely unknown, and when you think you know, you definitely don't know. Right? If you think you understand them,
assumption. I do it like not only in my life, I do it in my life also. I always assume that what I feel, what I know, the other, and I always do the same mistake. So maybe I do the same in my profession. That's it.
And by the way, I'm not saying that this isn't you doing something wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. This is about exploring other possibilities, because like I said, if you sat down at the piano every time and had to take it on face value and work out how to play it for the first time every single time, it would be a lot of brain power, and it would be kind of like information overload. So it's really good that you can make assumptions and and you kind of to move quickly as a teacher. You think, well, I've seen 100 other students and they've kind of reacted in this way, or they've liked this piece, so I'll take a guess and I'm going to assume that this is probably going to be a good piece, or maybe they like video games. That's probably an educated guess. But so it's not like assuming is always bad, but knowing that you don't have to assume, to me that seems like a really important thing, and being prepared, or seeing that you can just throw all beliefs out the window temporarily and just go, well, who is in front of me right now?
Yes, to throw all the beliefs out the window. I like this. That's what it is. And that's how you get excited, because every time it's like a new song, you don't know what is going to be like.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Oh my God, there's a funny story. I have a student on Friday. I yell at him. Can you imagine? And people who my family, they live upstairs, they say, like, every Friday you live with this kid, poor kid. And yes, and every time before lesson I said, please don't do that. Please be calm. But every time there is a point, I'm just like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's funny and it's sad, and oh my goodness, it's a story. Yeah, I love it. I love what I'm doing, and if you ask me, I would do more. I would take all my students for concerts, so we go together to listen to some concerts, to discuss orchestra instruments, because it's very important when you play piano, especially Beethoven, that you mentioned today. He was thinking like orchestra, like everything. It's so excited because it's also, and then we can go to rock concert. Why not? I like everybody knows I love Steven Wilson. He's a British guy. So we can go to this concert, or we can go many things. We can discuss works of art, because it's all connected. It's, it's not just music. So I really want to because my teachers, they opened this world for me, and my life changed so drastically.
Yeah.
So I want to do it for my students, right? I want to share what I know.
Yeah. So what did you just say? Like my teachers opened my world. So my world was small. My world was narrow. My world was rigid beforehand, right?
Yeah,
you're more similar to your students than you might realize, right?
the teacher that now I understand, she gave me the most, and because of her, I am who I am. I hated her. I hated her enormously. Believe me, I thought she's a witch. She's many bad words I could say. I was crying every 2 years. I crying. Everything I was doing, no, not good enough, not good enough. In art, never good enough. You can do more. But because of her, I said, no, I'll prove it. I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. She was very stern with me because maybe she felt I needed. Yeah, and I found her nowadays, and she lives in Israel now. She's old lady, and she even doesn't remember who I am. but for me, like now I understand everything. I said thank you so much for being this way with me. Yeah, it's an adventure. Yeah, yeah. But I love your thought about curiosity. I think that's what my starting point should be, to approach every student, every lesson. I have curiosity, right? Because it will, and not to assume things, not to have any expectations, not at all. Just like, and it will be fresh because you're right. I have this, like I told you, I see the list, what I have today, who I have to teach, and already it's in my head. Oh, which is wrong. I should erase it. I should like get it fresh and throw it out of the window and just approach it like a student today. He's today. I don't know. No thoughts yet. Let's see what is today. And yeah, I like this idea to think more about because I didn't think, I didn't take time to think, oh, why this particular student started to open up, started to get better, started to get excited. So like, what did I do that it happened? So this is actually very useful for me. Yeah.
It sounds like you noticed something. You maybe noticed something about them.
That's great. And I have a question to you. So you say just go with the flow. But in my situation, how you can use just go with the flow, don't think, don't overthink things. But it's the same, right? So just do not have any prerequisite thoughts about anything.
Well,
just go with the flow.
I think we've been talking about something very similar to that. So it's not about sort of actively not having thought, like trying to not have thoughts. So that's not going to work, is it? But like what we said, like noticing that you have certain beliefs means that as soon as something stops looking like a fact and starts looking like a belief, you then go, okay, well maybe the belief isn't true, and that's the point at which you go, I'll at least I'll put it down. It's not a conscious thing, but by seeing it is a belief about a student and putting it down, it then naturally clears the way for the flow to reveal itself. It's like something about them and what they say in the moment. Well, you'll sense a different energy because you'll be kind of more open to what's in front of you, and then you'll be more open to sort of being taken away or being led by the energy in the lesson. So it's the same way, like when you're playing in an ensemble, you kind of feel into what the music requires. It's the same with the student, as far as I can tell. It's the same kind of going with the flow, but it's not a musical thing. It's kind of a personal thing. It's kind of an interpersonal thing, you see. So it is, the thoughts kind of don't have to be taken so seriously, or don't have to be taken as quite so much of a fact. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's interesting. That's why it's flow, because it's always moving. Yeah.
And if you're awake to that, and and kind of aware of that, and if you're noticing, it's about awareness, Olga. It's about noticing. It's not about trying to be a certain way or do a certain thing. It's just being with them and seeing what strikes you, but looking with fresh eyes rather than concepts or beliefs.
Yeah, that's great. That's actually so much. I even didn't expect. To be honest with you, I thought we won't find this answer, like how to get but you did. You found it. Yeah, it's just.
Well, I didn't find it. I mean, we had a conversation, but you've seen something differently.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, I take your compliment. Thank you.
So I saw it clearly. Yeah.
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 Thank
It's
you.
the same for the student, isn't it? You know, like
Yeah.
you can't give them a love of Beethoven or Mozart or playing the piano, but as the kind of fog clears, they can then fall in love for themselves, you know. It's the same thing, you know. Oh, cool, nice catch. Right. We complete for now?
Yeah, I have other topics, but not today.
Okay, another time. Right.
Thank you
Lovely to
so
speak with you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
My
it. It was
pleasure.
very helpful.
See you
Thank you.
soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.